Everyone is hunting for jobs as China enters a great economic recession. A large number of migrant workers have poured into the Guangzhou Labor Market Service Center. These job seekers only found out when they arrived that there are no jobs available. Many of them didn't even have the fare to go home and were emotionally broken. The scene was heartbreaking.
The labor market in Yiwu, Zhejiang is crowded with people. For those of you who have not come to Yiwu, please stop coming. It's so hard to find a job. I haven't found a job even after 5 days of searching.
I'm really exhausted from job hunting. I'm so anxious. Why is it so hard to find a job in Shenyang? I want to report to everyone that I interviewed with 3 companies today, and I was really shocked. Let me tell you, at 35, I'm already considered old. The HR person said to my face, "We're afraid you're too old to stay up late, and we can't hire you." So during the second interview, the CEO told me, "If you're over 35, we won't even look at your resume, let alone interview you." What's wrong with society? Is 35 the end of life? The workplace today is so much more brutal than I imagined. You ask me how hard it is to find a job now? Let me put it this way. If I can't find a job by the end of March, I'll have to work in a factory or as a waiter or in customer service. I'll have to change careers. It's ironic when you think about it. Do you know why I quit my job in the first place? I quit because I was thinking about my career development. I thought that if I transferred to another position within the company, I wouldn't be able to work in the software testing industry anymore. I quit because I wanted to continue working in software testing, but I still can't find a job. Last week, I interviewed with an average of 2 companies a day. Every time, I felt confident that I would pass, but I never heard back. This week, I don't even have interview opportunities. What's even scarier is that this morning, when I opened the job search app to submit my resume, there were no positions left that suited me. It's terrifying. I've been unemployed for 4 months and I'm losing hope. I'm job hunting every day, sending resumes to 5 different companies, and I even became a member on the Boss platform, paying 68 yuan a month. The results of my applications are either unread or read without a response. It's very difficult to get interview opportunities. Last Friday, I thought I had an interview opportunity, but I was deceived. This was my only interview opportunity after the Chinese New Year. I'm actively sending resumes in the morning, studying in the afternoon, and preparing for interviews, but it's useless because I can't even get an interview. I haven't had any income for 4 months, and sometimes I feel like I'm useless. In February, the youth unemployment rate in China rose once again, another sign of China's slow economic recovery. According to data released by the National Bureau of Statistics, on March 20th, the unemployment rate for urban 16 to 24-year-olds, excluding students, was 15.3% in February, an increase of 0.7% since January. The unemployment rate for urban 25 to 29-year-olds, excluding students, was 6.4%, and for urban 30 to 59-year-olds, excluding students, it was 4.2%. The National Bureau of Statistics of China previously announced on March 18th that the National Urban Survey unemployment rate for February was 5.3%, up 0.1 percentage points from January. In August last year, the Chinese government suspended the publication of youth unemployment rate data, citing the need to optimize survey statistics. The last time the unemployment rate for 16 to 24-year-olds was published was in June, at 21.3%. When the official publication resumed in January this year, it was found that the new statistical method excluded students looking for part-time work and only included young people who had left school, entered society, and were looking for full-time work. Critics argue that this data cannot reflect the overall youth unemployment situation. In the United States and Europe, as long as students are actively looking for work, they are included in the employment statistics. Furthermore, the CCP statistical method for obtaining the unemployment rate is rather unique. It only counts registered unemployed individuals with urban household registration, and those who are not registered are not counted as employed. Additionally, rural household registration is considered part of the labor force and is not included in the statistics. Many Chinese netizens believe that the data is meaningless compared to the experience of being unemployed. Zhang Cheng, a Shanghai youth who graduated from a prestigious university last year, told Voice of America that he couldn't find a satisfactory formal job and has been working gigs to survive. He reluctantly stated that he should be counted in the unemployment statistics, but if people like him are all considered unemployed, the government's reputation would be at stake. Some netizens sarcastically commented, according to the new statistical method, in the future, graduates who can't find jobs will be considered students. This statement was confirmed by a senior manager named Wu. He stated that even in the Yangtze River Delta area, a major economic hub in China, the current employment situation for young people is not ideal. He has seen many young people who have already graduated come for interviews without their diplomas. Upon inquiry, he found out that the schools were unwilling to issue them because they said, "You're only considered graduated when you find a job." In other words, not finding a job doesn't count as graduation, and of course, they won't be counted as unemployed. Mr. Wu said that after the pandemic, China's economic recovery has been weak, leading to a shrinkage in wages. Even university degrees are losing their value. Graduates from top universities in China might find jobs easily, but see a salary cut of at least 30%. A salary of 10,000 yuan per month before the pandemic is only about 6,000 to 7,000 yuan now. The hardest hit are graduates from ordinary universities. Even if they can find jobs in first-tier cities, their monthly salaries are generally only around 5,000 to 6,000 yuan. And vocational school graduates have even lower starting salaries, only about 3,000 to 4,000 yuan. With such income levels, it is difficult to make ends meet for rent and commuting in the Yangtze River Delta region. Even workers with experience abroad, who are usually highly sought after, are now struggling to find opportunities. As for the real youth unemployment rate, what exactly is it? In July last year, Associate Professor Zhang Dandan from Peking University wrote in an article that if we included around 16 million non-working individuals, like those who adopt a passive attitude towards work and life, or depend on their parents, the real youth unemployment rate in March last year could have been as high as 46.5%. Assistant Research Fellow Fang Chongyan from the Taiwan Institute for National Defense and Security Studies told Radio Free Asia on March 20th that some signs indicate that the actual unemployment situation may be much higher than currently reported. For example, the overall economic situation has not improved much. Many policies were introduced in the real estate sector, but the housing market has not improved. Private and government enterprises, which are the main sources of white-collar jobs, have not made significant adjustments. Additionally, recent reports reveal a market for job openings. On these online platforms, people can pay to obtain open positions. According to statistics from the Chinese Ministry of Education, the number of university graduates in 2024 is expected to increase by nearly 2%, reaching a record high of 11.8 million. Usually, after the traditional Chinese New Year, university graduates start looking for jobs. Due to the prolonged economic downturn and the tough job market, public sector positions are becoming increasingly attractive, and the number of people taking the public service examination has been rising year by year. Recently, 25 provinces in China launched provincial examinations for public servants. According to related data, the number of people applying for the civil service exam this year is about 5.7 million, an increase of 17.8% from last year. Historian Li Yuanhua, currently in Australia, believes that the surge in civil service applications is actually an indicator of China's economic decline. He said, "The reason why millions of people are taking the exam and competing for 150,000 positions is because of the deterioration of the overall economic environment under the Chinese Communist Party. Foreign-funded enterprises are withdrawing their investments, state-owned enterprises are failing, and private businesses are reducing staff. So overall, it is very difficult to start your own business. So more graduates of all levels of education want to secure a stable job first." Not only are young people unable to find jobs, the unemployment rate for middle-aged people is lower than the average, but their situation is equally difficult, if not worse. Facing the pressure of supporting elderly parents and raising children, middle-aged individuals cannot choose to lie flat like young people. Moreover, they also face discrimination in the workplace due to the 35-year-old threshold. Recently, an employee who resigned from retail platform JD.com questioned why programmers over the age of 35 who are not stupid or disabled cannot obtain the same interview opportunities as young people with 3 to 5 years of work experience. After facing numerous obstacles job hunting, he concluded that the older one gets, the fewer job opportunities there are. Unless one is an outstanding figure in the industry, wanting to find a job at an older age means either becoming an industry expert or starting one's own business. Relying solely on job hunting is extremely difficult. Recently, Yi Nuo, a mom with a master's degree, said that she had sent a total of 84 resumes, communicated with recruiters 1,292 times, but received 0 interview opportunities. She eventually lowered her search from a position in a law firm to working as a mail sorter, but she could still not find a job. For a time, the topic of difficulties mothers face in job hunting sparked widespread discussion on social media. One netizen wrote in a post, "A few years ago, after the trade war began, I repeatedly warned that over 100 million Chinese people rely on the U.S. for their livelihoods. Without the huge trade surplus with the U.S., China's trade with other countries loses meaning, because it is basically balanced trade and cannot create additional employment for Chinese people. Yet Chinese people do not know that their livelihoods are provided by the U.S. They still proudly say that they have achieved everything through their own efforts. If the U.S. stops providing opportunities to other countries, a wave of unemployment will certainly sweep over our country." Amid the increasingly serious unemployment situation in mainland China, many former white-collar workers who have lost their jobs hide the truth from their families and continue to go out every day pretending to work, but actually they spend their time at places like cafes and libraries. Videos on Chinese social media show that public libraries in Beijing, Guangzhou, Shenzhen, and other places have become refuges for the unemployed. There they can find free air conditioning, hot water, and charging outlets. These former white-collar and gold-collar executives feel ashamed to face their families. They still leave home early every morning with briefcases, pretending to be working, but instead go to libraries, coffee shops, or public areas and bookstores to browse the internet and submit resumes. Chinese media outlet The Paper interviewed several such people. Molly, who was 40 years old, used to work in the IT industry for a well-known foreign company. After being laid off in February last year, she started going to the library frequently, spending 3 to 4 days a week there. She has changed jobs 4 to 5 times in recent years, experienced 3 layoffs, and her monthly salary has dropped from 25,000 yuan to 6,000 yuan. She doesn't get callbacks after interviews. Yi Hao, 36, was laid off in July last year and now pretends to go to work at the library every morning. Yi Hao chats with several other unemployed people who also come to the library and has come to a conclusion from his observations. If a person is very young and has books on their seat, they're likely a student. If someone only brings a computer, they may be unemployed. The job situation is indicative of a larger problem. In fact, the wave of closures in various industries truly demonstrates the severity of the economic crisis. Office buildings on every city street are empty. Rental prices are plummeting, silently telling the desolation of this era. Former restaurants and shops have closed down, which means a direct loss of job opportunities. According to limited statistics from mainland media, in the first half of 2023, 460,000 companies in China closed down, and about 3 million restaurants closed. David Huang, an economist based in the United States, believes that the huge pressure faced by small and micro enterprises will affect nearly 200 million jobs. However, these small and micro enterprises are far less resilient and capable of withstanding pressure than large and medium-sized enterprises because they have poor financing channels and a lack of monopoly on technology. Huang analyzed that if these small and micro enterprises face bankruptcy during the economic crisis, it will affect both ends, the unemployment of middle-aged and elderly people, as well as the employment of young people. This will create a very unstable situation for society. In addition, small and micro enterprises account for about 50% of GDP. Their bankruptcy will also have a huge impact on the overall economy. Moreover, the rupture of some industrial chains caused by their bankruptcy will lead to price increases, further harming people's livelihoods and the economy.